Hey, welcome to, or back to, BarbieCoProductions. And today, I'm going to be putting two of my Happy Family dolls onto Made to Move bodies. I mentioned in my last video that I've been wanting to do this for quite a while now, so today I am finally going to get it done. I have three different Allan dolls here, as well as my Happy Family Grandpa doll that I got on eBay, because there's not a lot of characters from Mattel that are older characters, so making my own is what I've decided to do. However, I do have this Mad Hatter doll from quite a few years ago. I found him on Facebook Marketplace and am hoping to put him on a Made to Move body someday to use as an older character, but it is proving to be a bit challenging because of the differences in neck. So this head cannot go on a Made to Move body, so I've been looking for other options and alternatives. But I think it's so cool how the dolls from this era don't just have painted on wrinkles, and they are actually part of the face mold. Which is similar to what Grandpa has going on. Some of them are painted on, but some of them are part of the original mold. However, I am going to need to modify this neck to put him on a Made to Move body using a method that I've done a few times now. I've done a couple videos in the past that are more detailed, but the goal is to make these two necks look kind of similar because that is what they need to fit on the Made to Move bodies. As for Allan, I'm going to use this one for this video since he is a little more damaged than the other two, and I'm pretty sure I have a double of him somewhere. He's also got a couple of little marks and some paint on his leg, and his legs have gone a bit sun discolored. He does have the old bend and snap knees, which is really fun to see. And these different arm joints, I have not seen these in quite a while, and I'm not sure what was going on with his head or if it had been damaged in the past because his head just popped off very easily. Regardless though, I'm going to do the same process with Allan as I'm going to do with Grandpa, so that both of them can go on Made to Move bodies. Starting with these wire cutters, I find that they are the best for getting this first part off of the head. And they haven't let me down yet. Now, the part that I'm a bit worried for, which is repeating the same process on Grandpa. Seeing as I only have one of these dolls and he is quite hard to find, I am a bit nervous about doing this, but I really want to put him on a Made to Move body, so I'm gonna do it anyway. Starting with cutting this piece off again. Which I'm not sure if this one that I got had been glued back together in the neck. I almost think it had been because the center of this piece was very solid and had these crumbly glue looking bits coming off it, which is what makes me think that the neck must have broken at one point and been glued back together. Because this was definitely way more difficult to cut with how solid the glue was, and I almost thought I wasn't going to be able to cut this piece out, but eventually I was able to, and it ended up making the process a lot easier because it was such a solid piece that when I did cut around the side of it, it left not much to sand down. But yeah, there's this really solid piece of plastic in the middle, but the plastic around it is quite squishy. Regardless, the piece came out in the end, so I'm just going to clean this up a little bit more and then they'll both be ready for sanding. Here's where they're at so far. And after a bit of careful cutting and sanding, this is where they are now. I have some of these little discs left over from previously when I was doing my videos about how to put can heads on made to move bodies, which I'm going to use for these two. And now Grandpa can finally go on his new body. Here he is on his new body. I'm so happy to see him with all of his new articulation. I did also decide to put him on a slim can body, and the color match ended up being quite good. He also has a bit of a smaller head than Allan, which ended up looking quite right that I put Allan's head on a standard made to move body and Grandpa's head on a slim can body. But as for Allan, I just put him on the standard can body, also with a plastic neck piece. And he was also a pretty good color match, which I am happy about. He does have this little mark on his chin, which I'm gonna see if I can take off. Here they are together. And what I am happy to see is that my collection of older characters is slowly growing. If you've seen my Robert's Family series, you might remember Gigi Pa. But overall, I'm just happy to have finally put Grandpa on a made to move body. As for Allan, what I do want to do very quickly is give him a little bit of a repaint. I just want to give him a more closed mouth look and see if I can take this little mark off his chin. So going in with some acetone, I'm just going to remove his lip paint. And once I've got all that off, I make sure to quickly wipe his face with a damp cloth, just with some water. And I'm also going to try and take this little mark of his chin. I won't be disappointed if I can't get it all off, but I figured I'd try anyway. And yeah, it's not coming off. It's definitely lightened a bit, but I guess this is just going to be part of Allan's character now. Here he is so far. And now I'm just going to go in with some Mod Podge to build up his lips. I'm doing the first layer with a paintbrush, just so that I can get a little bit more in there and make the first coat a bit thicker, and then I'll probably use toothpicks to do the rest of the coats. I'm also using a Q-tip to clean up the extra Mod Podge, since I do find if it goes outside of the lips and you leave it, they end up with these little shiny marks on their face. But here is coat 1, and now I'm going to leave it to dry. After about 4 or 5 coats, this is what I've got so far. And I also mixed up a lip color. This one in the corner here ended up being the closest to what I was looking for. So I'm just going to add a bit of water to that, and then start with the first layer. Here he is so far, and then from the side as well. Now I did end up going back in and making a few tweaks, so I used my X-Acto knife to scrape off a bit of the extra Mod Podge and make the lips look more like 2 shapes rather than 1, or less like a Mod Podge blob. and I'm definitely happier with this. I went back in and re-added the color. Now, as for these two, they're finally on their bodies. Allan's had his lip repaint, but they need some clothes. So while I was waiting for the Mod Podge to dry, I went through and made them both an outfit. All of these are new pieces aside from this mustard duffel coat, which you might remember if you've been around for a little while watching my content. Which I did originally make these duffel coats for the girls, but Grandpa being on a slim Ken body, these jackets still fit these bodies really well, which I was very happy about. I think Grandpa looks really good in his outfit. Although he is missing shoes, so need to change that. And with the shoes, I think it really brings the whole outfit together. However, he can wait over here now while I bring Allan in. Here's Allan in his outfit. And I do think it's kind of cool that the jacket does button. It was something I decided to add while I was making this jacket. It is a little bit difficult to do up, but once you do get it done up, I like that the thread holds the buttons down and makes them look like they're actually buttoned and staying in place. However, Allan is also missing shoes, so I need to change that very quickly and give him some shoes. I do also have something just a bit different for Allan. While I was making the clothes and I was in the flow of making them, I was playing around with making some hats. This is option 1, and I do like how this one matches with the jacket. And it has a couple little buttons in the back. And this is option 2. It is a little difficult to get on with how much hair Allan has. And I added buttons to this one too. But I do like the pop of color that this one brings to the outfit. And I just like this color in general. Let me know which one you like more, or if you prefer no hat. I'm gonna leave him in this one for now, and these two can stand here together. But that is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below, or check out my community tab where I post regular behind the scenes pictures and updates. Bye! Just as a quick disclaimer, my videos are intended for a 13+ audience and are not made for kids. As an adult who collects dolls, I use customization methods and sharp tools that are not suitable for children.